So if you're in the market for one of Vosteed's TiSlim knives, they have made it pretty difficult for you recently by coming out with some bangers this year. Today we are going to check out the Vosteed Porcupine Ti Slim, then we're going to compare it to the Raccoon TiSlim and the Parallel, and I'm going to bring in one other knife that has aluminum scales here as well. But this is the newest guy. Now, this does come in multiple different versions. You can get it in S90V, which is this one, around 160 bucks, or you can get it in 154 CM, which is also a solid steel, and that one's around, 135 or so. Now, the big difference with this guy is it does have their beloved top liner lock as opposed to the crossbar lock from the other two. And so we'll run down this one first. You can see you got that button top liner lock right there, your back spacer right here. This one, unfortunately, does not have a reversible pocket clip. I wish it did as a lefty, but it does not. Hopefully, maybe on the next version or something. Now, this is the Porcupine that does have the thumb studs, which I much prefer compared to the opening hole on the Porcupine. Just makes it easier to fidget with, in my opinion. I like deploying it more with the thumb studs. But your blade shape, besides that, looks very, very similar to other Porcupines. This one, like I said, in S90V, it's a great slicer, great EDC shape. If you've used a Porcupine for EDC, you know that it's just super useful. You can use it for food prep. You can use it for opening packages. I love this drop point shape. Jimping right here and right here. So you can hold it all the way up there if you wanted to, or down here. Very, very ergonomic. I wear size XXL gloves. You can hold it like this or choke up like this if you want. And you'll notice on their thumb studs, they do have those rings that look really decorative and cool. Very, very comfortable thumb studs to use, in my opinion. Nice looking pivot as well. And this one has like that cheese design that we saw with their new cheese versions. But from what I remember, there's also some that come flat or just have like a different acid etched design to it. You do have your lanyard hole back there. And even though it is not reversible, I do like the pocket clip on this new one. Very easy to slip into your pocket. It has enough give there. You do have T8 screws on the clip and on the body. So there's T8, T8. The pivot is also a T8, I believe. Let's check that out. Yeah. How's the action? It's pretty fantastic, especially with the thumb studs. It just makes this way more joyful to deploy. I really dig it. And you can see what your lockup looks like back there. No lock stick on this one. It feels like you still got a good amount of lock bar tension, but no lock stick at all. This is a really premium build from them. The build quality is pretty nuts here. Now, a quick size comparison. If you don't know the size of a Porcupine yet, there is what it looks like. Very, very similar to a PM3. You're looking at a little under 7 1/4 in length, and the blade is a little over 3, about 3 1/2. Your cutting edge is actually under 3, about 2 3/4. Now, compared to the Raccoon, there's that guy. It's definitely longer. You can see there the blades are about lined up, and you got about a 1/4 inch more blade length there. The handle is definitely longer on this one than, the blade difference between these two. And then here's the Parallel, which they originally didn't put in the Ti Slim line. It was the first one. It wasn't called a Ti Slim. But if you look at Vosteed's website now, it is considered part of the Ti Slim family. It's definitely shorter than the Raccoon. And with these two together, I believe it's shorter as well. Yeah, it's the smallest one here. Also feels the thinnest and the lightest. We'll see though. There's your overall thickness on the Porcupine, about 318 thousandths. So, a little under 1/3 of an inch. On the Raccoon, about 320. I mean, these two are very similar when you hold them, side to side. And then with the Parallel, 274. So definitely the thinnest one here. Let's weigh these. So here is the Porcupine Ti Slim first, 2.8 ounces. The Raccoon, 2.7. And the Parallel, 2.2. And you can definitely tell with the Parallel here, it feels like nothing. There's what it looks like from top down. I would also say this one's probably the least refined out of them. I mean, as far as the action goes, it's not bad, but it's not as good as the other two, in my opinion. It's a crossbar lock. It's got pretty stiff Omega springs, and I believe you can adjust the springs on both this and the Raccoon. And they got to be pretty bang on when it comes to the QC with these, because look at how thin it is. I mean, you need that blade centering to be just about perfect, or you're going to have some rubbing going on, and they did that with this. On this one, I also love that it's got a wire pocket clip. Really great knife, honestly, for a summertime carry. I mean, it feels like nothing. Like I said, the crossbar lock action might not be as smooth as like the Raccoon here, but it's totally fine for what it is. I end up kind of letting go a little too early and then have to push the blade down, but you can still hold it down and whip it closed like so. All right, I like the way that they have the stiffness of their springs on both of these. Here's the Raccoon's action. This one just feels a little more substantial because of the weight of the blade, and so it feels a little more satisfying when you are deploying it. If you haven't seen this one yet, it's another drop point design. Really, really nice blade shape for sure. This is the 154 cm version. Both this one and my Porcupine here have a stonewashed blue finish, which looks really, really good. I really like it. This one does have a reversible pocket clip as well with a really nice filler tab. I'm not sure why they couldn't do that on this one. There was space to do it, but I'm guessing maybe just because of some of the designs going on the scales, they didn't want to do that. Or maybe they were concerned about, you know, a lefty pushing that button, but I don't see that as an issue. When I hold it like this, I'm not getting near that button. Even up here, I'm not getting near that button. And even if I try, like I can kind of press down on it when I really grip it hard, but not enough that where it's going to push that blade down. So totally fine for a lefty in my opinion. There's what those two look like from the top down. You can see they're very, very close when it comes to thickness. And on these two, your centering's just about perfect as well. Again, it's just they have to be nails on these designs because of how slim they are. Also on the Raccoon, you got that decorative ring or collar around the thumb studs. Looks really good. Nice looking pivot. If you like a crossbar lock, you really can't lose with this one. It's really nice. I've heard of a few people having issues where they've broken the Omega springs on this, but I would suggest if you know you're the type that does that, maybe don't have them on like the tightest settings. Some people like to have their springs like as tight as possible so they kind of get the most feedback when flicking it out. And I get that, but that from my experience is usually when you break Omega springs more. Never broken Omega springs on a Vosteed or a Benchmade for that matter. The ones that I've broken a few of them on were like the Bulldog Rev B, even though I love that knife. I recently broke one, but it has super, super strong Omega springs that take a lot to flick it out. And those are the ones that seem to break more than like the softer Omega springs. Now, ergonomics on the Raccoon feels great. You can also choke up a bit right here. Not as much of a pronounced, you know, finger choil as the Porcupine, but you can still choke up here if you want to. You just got to be careful not to slip onto the blade. But this also does have jimping way towards the tip as well, making it very ergonomic for cuts. As far as the Parallel goes, this one's okay ergonomics-wise. I'm fine with it. It just doesn't feel as good as the other two, but it's also a smaller knife, so keep that in mind. Doesn't feel bad. There's no hot spots. Really like where that it has a wire clip as well, but just worth pointing out, it feels a little bit smaller. Like my pinky's almost falling off there. You can kind of choke up right there, but it doesn't seem like it's really meant for that. So it's definitely a smaller mini knife. Great summer knife though, like a shorts carry knife. This would be great for that because it just disappears in your pocket. And this does have different blade shapes as well. A lot of them are like a reverse Tanto, but this is the Tanto one. And this one is 154 cm, but this does come in an S35 VN version as well. And so does the Raccoon here. Now, the one that has S90V that you can potentially get, even though they're sold out in a lot of places, is the Porcupine. Now, all three of these have very thin blade geometry. The Parallel here looks to be the thinnest, and I would say the Raccoon and the Porcupine are very similar. The Porcupine looks to be maybe slightly thicker. All of these are just super slicey blades though. So like, you know, with cardboard, just slices right through. Love that S90V. The Raccoon is no slouch as well. Super slicey blade. And I bet the Parallel is going to be pretty good too. So all of them come really sharp out of the box. Obviously, the 154 cm is not going to have the edge retention that S90V is going to have, but it's a well-rounded steel. You know, it was once kind of the king of balance. That's MagnaCut now, but 154 cm was once considered like a great balance between edge retention, toughness, and corrosion resistance. It's still solid. It's definitely a step above like your 14Cs when it comes to edge retention. And for the price, a titanium knife around 130 with 154 cm, totally fair and worth it. Now, one other one I have here is a aluminum, and it's a full size, right? This one is not a slim. You can see here the blade stock is definitely quite a bit thicker compared to the other two. This is another option, but they're kind of hard to find. These were a Blade HQ exclusive, but I would love if Vosteed came out with more of the aluminum versions of these. They were like $100 or something too, maybe a little less, and these have 14C. But, you know, the nice thing about this one is it does have a reversible clip for us lefties, and it's really nice looking, a little more premium looking compared to the micarta ones. If you're trying to choose between these three, you're really not going to lose. They're all fantastic. Depends on what you like. If you want the smallest and thinnest one, and you like the looks of this, you just want like something that's going to disappear in your pocket this summer, check out the Parallel. Also love the wire clip on this. This is the type of clip that's great for shorts, and it's just a good summer carry. Like I said, a little bit stiffer. I find myself sometimes like letting go. Now I'm not doing it. Letting go of the crossbar lock before, you know, it closes all the way, and then it takes a little bit of push, but totally fine. It's you see, there I go. Totally fine as far as ergonomics go, just not as ergonomic as the other two. And really nice blade shapes that you can get on this. Like I said, you can get it in a Tonto or a reverse Tonto. So it's definitely the lightest and thinnest if that's what you're looking for. Now, as far as my favorites, it's going to be out of these two. And I got to give it to the top liner lock. It would be great to see a top liner lock in the Raccoon version here as well. But they're both fantastic, fantastic knives. The one thing I do like a little better about the Raccoon here is you can see it has screw heads on both sides. And with the Porcupine, it's got screws on one side, and then you can see them on the other side. They don't protrude out or anything, and they don't really look bad, but worth pointing out. Also, the Parallel has that going on, where on this side here, you got one screw poking out, and then there's the screw head. So I think we got to give the crown right now to the Porcupine Ti Slim, mostly because of the lock. A crossbar lock's great. As a lefty, I use it a lot still. But if I got to choose between these two, I'm going to go for the top liner lock. You get a real detent. It's got great action to it. It's a tough locking system, and you don't have to worry about Omega springs ever potentially going out on you. But like I said in the beginning, it's just a tough choice. You're not going to go wrong with any of these. You know, if you want a very thin and lightweight titanium knife for $130-some range, I think this is one of your best options right here. Now, if the question is, should I splurge for S90V or go with the 154cm? Kind of depends on you. 154cm is going to be a little bit tougher, but the S90V here is going to have better edge retention by quite a bit. I mean, it's one of the edge I'm doing this right-handed. Sorry, guys. It's one of the edge retention kings when it comes to steel, and it's one of my favorite steels. So if you can afford it, it's like another 30, 40 bucks. I would go for the S90V. If you're more hard on your knives and stuff like that, you worry about potential chipping, even though it doesn't happen super often with S90V, but worth pointing out, then maybe check out the 154cm, which is going to be a little bit tougher. Or an S35VN version of one of these. I believe S35VN is probably tougher than S90V or 154cm, but feel free to chime in the comments if I'm wrong. Now, one more thing to keep in mind is that with the slimness, while it feels ergonomic, it's still, you know, not going to be as ergonomic to me as a full thickness knife. It just fills out the hand a little bit better. And so if you're like hard using this thing all day long and that's a concern, maybe consider one of their full size ones. They're not that heavy either. But if your concern is just like the slimmest in the pocket you can get, you love the look of these, you love how lightweight they are, then check it out. It doesn't feel bad in the hand. It's just, if I have a bunch of knives with me and my job all day is to go cut up cardboard for hours, I'm probably going to pick a thicker, more hard use knife. For EDC though, I think that these are perfectly fine. I have large hands and it still feels great in the hand. So Vosteed killed it. Ooh, double there. Really looking forward to seeing what other knives they'll have come out in this line of Ti Slims. Very exciting. They're doing amazing stuff, and I will put links in the description for where you can pick this all up. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and check out one of my others. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching.